Hello and welcome to a special edition of the IBL Inside Pitch. This is the transaction deadline edition. Mark Pare alongside Srivastava and Braeden Ferrington. Guys, we are less than 24 hours until the transaction deadline. It hits at 11:59 tonight. We're recording this on a late Sunday afternoon, going in towards the evening, and already in the last 24.
Are we past the pre-evening part here? Are we past pre-evening now?
We're past pre-evening. It's 6.
Damn!
Pre-evening 5 to 6, Neil. Pre-evening 5 to 6. This is a Sunday evening that we're doing this.
Yes, I guess technically yes, it is evening, yes.
But again, the transaction deadline hitting at 11:59 on Monday. But Neil, just maybe take me through some of the logistics involved with open roster spots, the 48 hours after the fact, and just obviously what's open for some of these teams at this point in time.
Well, as right now, as a rosters, as the last time I looked over here, it was okay. So each team has a 28-man roster, plus they have 8 call-ups on the junior 22 list. As far as the 22 U list guys don't touch anything. They've already qualified for postseason. Doesn't matter what they do as long as they were in on the roster and on the OBA cards beforehand and everything was valid as far as that stuff goes. As far as those deadlines, they're qualified for postseason. You don't have to worry about those guys at all. But actively, of course, they got in the Intercounty Baseball League, you have 28 roster spots. You can have 5 imports on those spots. Plus, you have an inactive list of 5 players as well. So a lot of roster juggling going on in the next few days for sure. Of course, I don't know if it was how it was in Kitchener or anything else, but you can just tell in Hamilton, guys were kind of uptight today, kind of worried if they're going to be here tomorrow or not. Or I guess, it was when the guys watch this, we're going to be here we're going to live to see midnight tomorrow night or Monday night anyway. So with this current team, or are they going to be going somewhere else? But it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. And so what happens is at 11:59, the rosters are officially frozen by the league. Anybody who's on a roster then has to qualify for postseason. After that, you have to, go through everything else. If you get released before 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, you have the option of within 48 hours of signing with another club, which has happened surprisingly to a lot of players over the years. So some guys do get, they get a last minute chance and everything else, but the team has to have an open roster spot at 11:59. They can't just, so-and-so's now available. Let's go sign him and get somebody off there. That's not how it works. You have to have an open roster spot, and a lot of teams right now don't have a lot. Let me just see here. We got one team that does not. Let's just start alphabetically. So Barry has, according to the roster I have on file, has got 4. Brantford is full.
Available, right?
Yeah. Chatham-Kent has 3 open spots. Guelph has 2 open spots, but they're juggling imports right now. Hamilton is completely full, including inactive roster spots. Kitchener's got 23 guys listed on the card as of right now, so they have 5 open spots, so they might be busy here. We'll see what they do. London's got 1 open spot. Look at that Farrington guy on the inactive roster still, He's pretty good. Toronto is full at 29 or 28, and they have 4 inactive spots open, so they can move some guys there if they're injured and not going to be back in time. And of course, Welland Jackfish are full as well, even though it looks like the last updates are on there as well. So yes, Welland is full too, as far as active spots right now. That's when we recorded this. So things can change between now and Monday night at midnight. So it's gonna be a little nervous for a lot of nerve-wracking for some guys, I'm sure. Other teams, they've had their meetings with their players and said, hey, this is a team we're going to war with, so stop sweating. Unless somebody got hurt today or something, Stop sweating.
And just to clarify, too, so when it comes to the 28-man roster, even if that player is junior age, they don't get put into that 22U group where they automatically qualify.
We also have some rules as far as that stuff, because the 22U roster is completely different from the guys that are actually on the active roster. If those guys are a junior age player on the active roster, they're basically what we used to call a junior signed to a senior card. So they've forgoed their year of junior eligibility and playing senior baseball. And they're playing exclusively for that club.
All right, makes sense. All right, so let's roll through these 9 teams and just the possibilities that are coming. Neil, you touched on some of the open roster spots. I'm going to let you take the floor first. Obviously, earlier on today, you got to call Hamilton and Welland, so you got a little bit familiar with those 2 teams. What are you hearing out of Hamilton and Welland at this point in time? Does Hamilton add a little bit more? Do they do exactly what they did a couple of years ago, where they reset half their roster?
No, they're not. They're not pulling that. They're not pulling that. And I think that's what the anxiety was about today, as far as the ball club and everything else. I think a lot of guys were, very nervous, apprehensive what's going on in the next 12 hours or so, next 24 hours. But word is, unless something earth shaking happened, like unless we had an injury or something and we had to get an injury replacement, these are the guys they're going with. These are the guys they're going with. The Jackfish, Jason McKay and everything else. He keeps his cards very close to his chest. So if he's got something up his sleeves, it's gonna be kind of last minute, or it's gonna be kind of like, okay, by the way, here we go. We're gonna switch this and this and this out. But I think they've made their moves now anyway. So I think they like to get everything in place in time, because again, you can look at the time. You're going to look at it. You're going to have a lot of teams are going to have 10 or 11 games left to qualify these guys. So if they're a pitcher, it's probably not going to happen unless they can have rubber arms or something, because you're going to have to bounce in. You got to play 5, and you got 5 appearances and have 10 innings pitched. So unless you can do that, unless your name's like, I don't know, something with Elastoman or something, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Now, I'll touch on that just for a second here. Now, Zach Whalen ends up signing to a Welland Jack did make a couple of moves in releasing Tyler Dupuis and Dawson Tweet. They moved Sam Cocker and Caleb Fiora stake to the inactive list. They signed Zach Whalen. They have one roster spot open. I'd imagine that they're going to fill that by the time, maybe by the time this actually goes to air, that roster spot could be filled. And I'm glad Braeden's here as well, because I want to get kind of his insight just on, how do players kind of navigate this time of year? I know you were with one team for 10 seasons and still technically part of a roster, although you're on the inactive list right now. But I guess, how do you and others on these teams kind of, navigate this time of year and, try to set that aside and just focus on the baseball?
Yeah, I think, as a player deep down, where you're at within the season. Do you always have great expectations going into the season? Does it always happen to what you want? No. Sometimes as a player, you already know you don't fit in the club's vision here. Yeah. So at this point, instead of sulking about it, step up and, make yourself more attractive and more obtainable, so to speak.
Exactly. In this situation, if you're in that position, you're hopefully, got an agreement with the general manager of that club you're with right now. Hey, if I can negotiate my own deal, is it okay to go? Like, as far as this stuff goes, or okay, so-and-so is interested in me. Can you send me there? Something like that, and work out the details as far as that stuff goes.
100%. I've seen it work out with a bunch of teams. Not per se the team I've been on, but I've seen it a bunch of times, and sometimes it's a good fit if a player moves on to another team. And for my case, I've been able to see we had one player in 2023, which arguably was the worst year I've ever played for the majors. Mm-hmm. But we had a player come in from Hamilton, actually, and we heard the stories, we heard everything, what happened there. He kind of got a clean slate in London. He started off really good with us, and big team guy. Obviously, that always goes away. Yeah. But I think he really wanted and tried to be a part of the team, in a new situation, and then it kind of just crumbled. But he made the best of it. It is what it is. That's basically been my experience with this whole thing, and especially from on my team side of it, I've got to witness other transactions happen in the league, and I think at the ultimate, it really works out for both parties. If it's not working out for another team, some other team thinks, oh, hey, you might be able to help us out. So I think this is the kind of the time where, especially the teams that think they can go for it, go for it. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I'm not gonna say the negative side of it. If you're one of those teams where you're okay, we can see in the room here, we need to add this piece, and this piece.
Yep.
And then nothing happens. That's when internally you kind of get let down. It's happened a few times.
Yep.
Where you're like, okay, cool, yeah, this is going to happen, then nothing happens. And then you're just stuck left with what if and a lot of question marks. And it's not like, okay, we're really going for it. You know what I mean? Like, if we really wanted to go for it, we would have had this done. So, you know, as a player in the room, you just want to have the opportunity to win, and that's the ultimate to this thing is winning.
No,
and
exactly.
If you don't win,
it is.
What are we doing it for? So that's my spiel.
And you know, in 2014,
some people might like it. Some people might not.
In 2014, when I was the general manager of the Guelph Royals, we were in a position where we had a player had a falling out with management, and we were trying to move that player off. And of course, this is where the social media policy really came into effect, is because of the reaction. I got personally attacked on social media for a lot of stuff. They went after my wife. They went after my kid. They went after a lot of things, and this is where the league's social media policy came out of. And the league really didn't do much as far as that stuff goes. They nothing ever transpired as far as nobody ever was, formally punished or anything else after the fact. It didn't work out as far as the player and everything else. I was on conversations with Kitchener till 11:23 the night of the deadline. And it just didn't make sense as far as what I needed back in return and what Kitchener was willing to offer to let this player go. I'm just keeping his name out of it because, again, he's a great guy. I consider him a good friend and everything else. It was a rough situation. It was honestly the roughest situation. I actually resigned as general manager 2 weeks after that because it was just awful. It was awful. Like, it was not baseball. It was damn right personal. It wasn't the player or any of his friends doing it. It was somebody out there just, taking a vendetta. So I get it, and it was just awful. It's why I walked away when I did. It's just like, if that would have been the last thing I did in this league, it would have been, okay, yeah. It's just an absolute terrible feeling. Like, my kid at the time was like 4. So it's like, what the heck are you doing? Mm-hmm. And then, the league couldn't do anything because there wasn't any mandates or anything else. There wasn't any footwork. This was unheard of. But, I still have the screenshots in my OneDrive, apparently, because I came across them the other day, and I was just like, oh, man. Just awful. Just awful.
Well, it's definitely not easy for players or general managers or really anybody in the league at this point. That's for sure.
No, it's not. It's not. And, you can feel good about your team and everything, but it's just at the same time, it's like, well, what can we do too? Like, you don't want to get it to the point where it's negative. All this momentum you've been building towards this day, and it just suddenly backfires on you. You don't want to do that.
No. Mm-hmm. And I think as a player, you can't take anything personal.
No.
Like, at the end of the day, it's a game. Like, you're literally playing a child's game out of pure enjoyment and entertainment for others. Like, that's what you do it for. You do it for the other people. If you take it personal, then, like, you got some issues. Like, go get those checked out. It's like, at the end of the day, it's fun. Like, it's not the real world. This is, again, like I touched on this a couple episodes ago, like, sometimes this might be your escape from your own real world. So, at the end of the day, it's a game. Relax. Have some fun. Enjoy it. You only do it one time in your life.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's like Ilya Brizgalov said the one time. It's just game. Why are you mad? It's just game. That's the worst Brizgalov impression I have ever been able to do. So, but let's move to two teams that I know very well. I just saw them in action earlier on today: the Guelph Royals and the Kitchener Panthers. Well, it's safe to say, guys, that looking at the Guelph Royals, if anything, maybe one piece gets moved into the organization, but I mean, at this stage, they have the 2 spots open that they can fill if they do so, if they do see fit. But, I look at the pieces that they've just added in the last 24 hours. I think that's their big splashes for the deadline. Just from what I'm hearing, I think this is pretty much it, unless something comes up in the next 24 hours, based on what I'm hearing from the organization.
And this is why we're not doing the 12-hour show tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, stuff's already happened, and then we'll recap it on Wednesday's broadcast of the Inside Pitch. But looking at the Kitchener Panthers, I was talking with Shanif Hirani earlier on today, the general manager. Their big focus, obviously, right now is adding to the bullpen. They've looked strong in the last few games. They didn't look as strong today as of this taping, but I think right now the focus is on adding, obviously. They have a lot of roster spots available to them on the 28-man roster. But if they have their way, definitely the priority, at least in Shanif's eyes, is adding to that bullpen. Seems like the offense is there. They could add maybe 1 or 2 more bats to try to keep up with some of the other bats in the league. But seems like the bullpen's the way to go, at least for them at this point.
Yeah, and in Hamilton, that was just, again, I think they're not making. I don't see anything big happening. If something was to fall out of the sky on their lap or something, they might consider it. But these are the guys they're going to war with. These are the guys I would take a bullet for any of these guys right now. I would, just because I like the way this team's come together. I love how this team has rallied last couple of weeks, and hey, yeah, the 4-0 loss to the Welland Jackfish this afternoon, and hey, they were in that ball game till the sixth or seventh inning, and it just, unfortunately, as the things go on, and things happen. You got to tip your cap to Welland. They found a way to do it, and we haven't figured out Euclid's layer yet as far as that stuff goes. But yeah, he went out there and threw a gem today. So you just tip your cap and go. Put it behind you.
Yep. No, exactly. Moving on to the Brantford Red Sox, they are now a bunch of games outside of the 8th and final playoff spot. It's looking very, very dim for their playoff hopes at this point in time. So I raised this question: how do you navigate, around this time of year when you're not even going to make it into the postseason? Is it you sell off a couple of players to possibly bring in some money, or I guess what's kind of the situation with Brantford, and how do you kind of navigate the position that you're in?
Pretty much where we were with the Royals in 2014. We were not. We weren't contending to. We weren't going to be going anywhere crazy as far as postseason or aspirations or anything else. We had our run early. Canada Day, we were in first place, and then it's like, okay, yeah, it just went whoosh, fast. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But when you're in this situation, you have to entertain offers, but at the same time, you have a loyal fan base too that you have to. You got 12, 13 games where. As much as you want to be in that mode where, okay, we're just going to flip the switch, call it the junior team, whatever. Here, you can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
Because you still have a mandate out there. As much as you're not charging admission this year, you still have a mandate. You still have to go out there and put the best possible team out there on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got great building blocks too. I mean, you think about what they have in that lineup. I mean, Christian Ortega has been a star. Ren Takioka is going to be a big promising piece for the future. I mean, especially those 2 pieces, you can't just sell them off. And yes, you have that opportunity where next season where, they might be able to be sent back, or, how does that work even going into next season? Say you have your rights moved on over to the next team.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it's just, right now, it's okay. So you're looking at it. You had 60 days before the season started to put this team together. It's been trying to catch up all year, and it's not as easy as, okay, you just can't go get 26 guys, 28 guys, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna play together. You're gonna learn how to play baseball together, and you're gonna play Brantford Red Sox baseball. You have to, it's gonna take a lot longer than you think it's going to. And if anybody's sat in the position of the general manager knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's not. Yeah, sometimes it works right off the bat, and you're lucky. Okay, that worked out great. Other times it's like, okay, well, he's here. He needs work. It's going to take him probably 6 to 8 months to get used to this league. So we're gonna take our lumps right now. And and hopefully he's here in the off season and he works on this stuff, or we can send him home with a program to work on, and he takes it seriously, and he's here back next year, and he might be an all-star next year, as far as that stuff goes.
Looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and just to kind of quell some rumors, looking at the roster list, Dustin Richardson is still technically listed on the active roster, the 28-man roster.
On the active roster as of right now. So it's just, but yeah, what are we hearing and everything else that's gone on? And of course, it's been posted on the fan page too. That his nameplate's off the dressing room wall and everything else. But yeah, again, that's just speculation. We don't have an official statement. We don't have any of that stuff, and I don't want to bury somebody under the bus here. I just don't want to do it. I have too much respect for Dustin as a player and a human being that, that, hey, it's a bad situation for everybody.
Yeah. I guess beyond the Dustin of it all, how do they navigate this transaction deadline?
Well, exactly. And it's hard because, again, you're at 28 players right now. So it's just like, okay, are the guys healthy? You got Marcus Connect back. Is he 100%? Probably not. But, he's working through whatever injuries and ailments he's going through. But then you go, the last night they go with Taiwan on the Welland again. So it's just like, if I'm Welland, I don't want to play Toronto in that first round. So maybe I'm pulling some strings, getting some other guys to fill some holes here so Toronto finishes somewhere not in there, not in that first round matchup. But yeah, Toronto is just, I don't know. It's going to be hard to say. It's going to be, again, they've been revolving door as far as some guys lately too. So it's been like, okay, so and so didn't work out. Let's get somebody else in here. So it's hard. It's hard. It's just, again, I think it's just ownership's now in year 2. And again, like I said, with the Hamilton situation and everything else, you look at Eric's experience, the job Eric's done as far as everything else. Those first 2 years, yeah, it was like cleaned house at the first signing deadline. And then it's like they realized, okay, we can't do that anymore. So now it's like, okay, we have to invest in certain things. We have to build the infrastructure up. We have to build everything else in place so that when we do get good guys here, or we're looking for recruiting good guys, we have the infrastructure, we have the groundwork in place. So they look at, oh, okay, this is what Hamilton's offering. This is what Toronto's offering me to come play here. And this is what I can do while I'm there. So I'm not just, it works out to, they got a training facility. They got personal trainers. They got massage therapists, whatever else. The list goes on and on. The things they have to take care of to keep my personal well-being as a player in my best interest and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious what Toronto's going to do, especially with trying to attract players. Like, if I'm a pitcher, it's a place where sometimes you just don't want to pitch.
No.
And
like, could you actually, if you were to put yourself in that position, Braeden, you're going a pitcher, you want to pitch for Toronto, can you actually ask only to pitch on the road? You think you could put that in a contract as part of the negotiation?
I think nothing against anybody else in the league or like whatever, but I think if you get to a certain point where you've been around the league a bit, I'm gonna say probably if you're like 6 years plus, I think you can kind of say, hey, this is the situation. Like, how badly do you actually want me? And I think it's a valid question, honestly. It's just a matter of the desperation, I guess, of Toronto, and do they need players and all that? Like, that'd be my first thing. Is like, listen, like, I'll pitch on the road, minus Kitchener.
You're gonna have the blue flu that night.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. But then again, like, but once playoffs hit, I'm fair game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that'd be my thing. Like, it's just, you don't get excited to pitch there. No offense to the guys that are there now on that roster.
Well, and then you have the exception to the rule, Owen Boone, that goes out in the Kitchener. Just, I don't know. I don't get it, but I just don't get it.
Yeah. Like, it's a place where it's just, you go to the pits, and I get what ownership is doing. They're trying to build it up.
Yeah.
As a player, you're like, there's nothing that's bringing me in, especially if you're a veteran guy.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I go there if I can do something else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it might not even be just another team. Like, it might be just like not playing. Like, it's like, how badly do you want to go play?
It might boil down to, okay, well, I've got an offer from Toronto, but I've also got an offer from the seniors men's leagues team that's pretty decent, that might have a legit shot at the national championship ring. So
so it's just, it's a give and take, right? It's like, whatever kind of fits your mold. But I think the Toronto ownership group really just needs to have, I'm not going to say a sit down meeting with themselves, but figure out what they are as a group.
Yeah.
Like, because no one really knows. Like, it's just, are we going to be
just from as a casual observer, as a guy that used to be part of Jack's system, it's totally like backwards from what I'm used to seeing there. It's just like, okay, it seems like it's more focused on marketing, trying to get butts in the seats, and hoping the product's somewhat good that we can actually keep these seats full. But again, it's just not working right now. So they got to bring the two houses together and have a proper discussion, and maybe you got a clean house on both sides.
Yeah, and that's Neil, you hit that one on the head. Like it is what it is. Like sometimes you just got to cut a loss and start from scratch. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with the older guys, the veterans. Like they're not gonna be there wasting their time away. They want to win. Like
they do.
Like you're telling me Castaldo that has 6 rings right now? Like
wouldn't like a 7th?
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like that's what players want. They want to win. They don't want to go to a place where they're gonna just waste their playing abilities.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like that's every player wants to win at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, looking forward on the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, they have 3 open roster spots at this point in time. They have 10 games remaining on the season. The big story coming out of them, obviously, being Seth Strong, put onto the inactive list. There was rumblings that he might be entertaining offers to play at other ballparks in the Intercounty Baseball League, but we got the confirmation just through the fan page. It was actually his mother that confirmed this, that Seth Strong is now back home in Ohio. Doesn't look like Seth will be back in the IBL this season, which is very unfortunate to see. But what do you guys see out of the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, who not only have 3 open roster spots, but now they have that import slot open too?
They have an import spot, and I would not be surprised to see it filled later. I would see sometime by Monday morning at the latest when this goes live by anything. I would not be surprised if there's an announcement early tomorrow morning that it's been filled. I know who they're working on as far as what their options are and everything else. I hope the comes together for them, but I don't know. I'm not going to tip my cap, because the people that told me who this stuff is, I trust them and I value it. They were nice to tell me where they're at. So, I'm just going to leave it at that, and that's cool. I appreciate that because, it's something you don't have to tell me that stuff, guys. I get it. But at the same time, they trust me enough to know I'm not going to go say it's so-and-so, here he's coming this way, and everything goes to snit all of a sudden.
But I guess where is their biggest need right now?
I would say right now it's probably another pitcher. I think it's another pitcher just because it's not a shot against the guys they got or anything. I think they just need another pitcher that can come up and eat some innings and everything else. They lose everything else. They signed a couple of guys this weekend. They're just going to get them reps, get them into the games now, as far as that stuff goes.
And get them qualified for the postseason.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. To the London Majors, what's their biggest need right now, and what do you anticipate we could be hearing out of the camp in the Forest City in the next 24
Forest City, well,
hours?
they need pitching. They need pitching. That's the big thing. They just need pitching, and it's just they got one open spot right now. They don't have an import spot open, so it's okay. Well, there's not much in the Canadian cupboards right now. Like if there is, everybody's gone through it. They're all going through the same thing. Like your Frontier League, us, other leagues out there too. And it's just there's not a lot out there because if you're not committed to one of those two leagues right now, you're probably committed to a senior men's league roster, and you're probably right now. If they have elimination tournaments in those provinces, you're probably gearing up for that next week. So they're not jumping ship. They're pretty much locked in here, so it's okay. Yeah. Good luck finding us, or unless somebody gets released from the Frontier League in a hurry, that's Canadian. It's just not going to happen too easily.
Yeah.
I think pitching is 100%. Like you can only run Skyler out there so many times.
Yep.
But even that, like years past, it's been a very quiet deadline, and the only other one that's been decent was 22, and we got an A player.
Yeah.
So I think this is it. I think this is their squad, to be honest with you.
I don't foresee much going on because
no,
just not. There's no room. There's nothing. nothing earth-shattering coming down their way.
No.
All right. Barry now, 4 open roster spots. Their import slots are filled. Do you see the Baycats doing some additions here? I know this is a team that has struggled with injuries and absences as well. What do you see out of their camp right now? What are you hearing out of their camp, and where is their big?
You kind of saw it Friday night too. It's just like, okay, they're gonna go with their big 3 like they did last year, and that's not it's not broken, so don't try to fix it. You got your big 3. You got Sano in 9. So he can probably go 8. Maybe he can definitely go 9. But he can probably go 8 if he pinch if he have to. But you got Grieveson back there. You have got some guys still jockeying for position to say, Coach, come look at me. Maybe don't put me out there with runners on base, but just give me give me an opportunity to start a clean inning for you or something like that. But it's just going to be, again, I don't think there's anything crazy earth shattering. I think he's done all the heavy lifting. Like Matlow's been the busiest guy because out of necessity the last 2 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because you lose the guys you do lose, and he's somehow gone out there and found very, very suitable and very, very qualified replacements. So it's
and even that, like I wouldn't put it against him to somehow shock everybody.
Yeah.
Like just knowing him is just like, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't see that
like,
coming.
Here, hold my Gatorade because I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah.
Josh, don't send me a text message at 11:59. Whatever you do, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, please don't.
All right. Well, I think we've covered all 9 teams. Question for the both of you. Based on what we have seen already, we can say that the Guelph Royals might have made some of the bigger splashes in getting Kaner Pena, who had a 2-home run game earlier on today, 8 RBIs in his IBL debut. Antonio Frias ends up coming in as the starter. Claudio Custodio ends up coming in as well in relief, making his season debut. But I guess beyond what we have seen already, which one of the 9 teams do you feel has the most potential to make the biggest splash from now until 11:59 Monday nights?
Honestly, I think a lot of teams are done. Like it's just a gut feeling. It's like they've been working the phones, they've been doing everything else. Unless somebody suddenly becomes available at the last moment here, and then it just drives the asking price up between 4 or 5 teams. I don't see there's anything big happening. I just don't. I think it's going to be a pretty quiet day tomorrow as far as the deadline and everything else. A lot of guys are going to be, on edge till 11:59, and then that clock's going to strike midnight. And, no Cinderella, no glass slipper breaking. They're going to be okay. They're just going to, we're going to get up Tuesday morning. We're going to play baseball, and, we're going to go out and try to help our team win a championship. I think that's where we're at.
I think, honestly, like, out of all the teams, the team to add maybe an addition would probably be Welland. That's just my gut feeling. It's just rich keep getting richer.
Yeah, and they've been struggling a little bit too for the last little bit here. So it's just they need something to just shake the core up. Say rattle the chains a little bit here and say, hey guys, we're here to win a championship. We're here to win games at home, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that takes care of all 9. I do have some homework that if anybody listening from now until Wednesday, you can answer in at iblinsidepitch at gmail.com. That is iblinsidepitch at gmail.com. And, maybe we'll get to it on a special Wednesday episode after the transaction deadline has passed. But my homework assignment for you is based on what I have been hearing from a couple of different teams and, thinking about where we're at right now. The transaction deadline is 11:59 Monday night. When you look at the schedule remaining, there are teams that have about 8 or 9 games left. So if you're bringing in a guy around this time of year, you want him to get qualified for the postseason. Say you only have 8 games left. I believe Kitchener will have 8 games left now. They do. You have to get a pitcher in to 5 of their final 8 games and get 10 innings in.
Yep.
See where I'm going with this? Is there a need to change the qualifications for the playoffs? I'm going to leave that in your
the deadline used to be a lot earlier. The deadline used to be a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Mind you, that was also when we were playing 36 games. So it was kind of a give and take here. Like it used to be Canada Day way back then. It used to be Canada Day was the deadline. So it was like, okay, guys had to be on the roster by Canada Day because, had a month and a bit to do the thing. But again, it's just, how do you quantify it? Because you have to prevent teams from manipulating the system, which they have in the past.
Yeah.
And let's be honest with it. There's been a lot of that crap going on.
Geniuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they manipulated the system, so that's why there's been different rulings and different measures and everything else putting as far as guys, the guys that left for the Frontier League and suddenly back here too. It's like, okay, well, did you qualify before you left? Because if you did, you're great. If you didn't, you're not allowed to play. So there's that too.
All right. So maybe we'll switch the homework up a little bit and say, is there a need to change the qualifications, or is there a need to push back the transaction deadline? How does that sound?
It's hard, yeah, but it's doable. It would be interesting to see if you guys like where the transaction deadline. I'd love to hear players' feedback. Like, is it too much of a push? Like, I'd love to hear from a player that's come in these last minutes, and say, okay, yeah, do you feel like you have to be able to perform on like ridiculous timetables here?
Well, I think I can speak on that since there was a certain addition last year on a team.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say which team, but I may have been a part of it. And it was like a chaotic dumpster fire to get him qualified, which ended up getting him hurt.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, and
like, I didn't want to see that. Like,
no.
I remember vividly telling his father, who was at the game when he did get hurt, and he's prideful to go back out there. But I was like, go get your kid. Like, tell him he's done. Like, nobody wants to watch this happen. Like, I was on the top step, like, my stomach was turning. So I was like, I'm literally watching a guy I've played baseball with for probably 8 years, and he's just blowing it up. And I'm like, for what? Like, I didn't want to watch that. So,
and it's, I've seen it happen too. Like, I've seen over the years where, these guys get to this situation and it's like, they don't get out of the first inning.
Yeah.
But they have to, they have to keep going. And it's just like, okay, well, this is not fun to watch from a fan perspective. It's not fun from a player's perspective because it's just like guys are getting lit up like Christmas trees out there.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a touchy subject, and hopefully we get some of you reach out to us. Again, iblinsidepitch@gmail.com, or leave a comment in the comments section, whether you're tuning on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Well, guys, we got a lot to go on from now until Monday at 11:59. Maybe we can reconvene again after the deadline for our usual episode. We'll get into the power rankings. We'll get into all the storylines. But again, thank you all for joining us here on a special edition of the IBL Inside Pitch, the Transaction Deadline Edition. We'll see you back here later on this week.